All right, there we go. So now let's
He's
get going on our
there.
very first case study for B483. I will add um, Thomas to my circle, so it'll just be a little bit easier to do these in the future. Allie,
Cool.
I've been texting back and forth with Allie this evening. Doesn't think I didn't invite her. She's at work until 11 o'clock tonight. So in the future, we'll just try to have to work around everyone's schedule. Probably going to try to do those, like we were saying, Wednesdays at 7. But let's kind of dive into this. Um, so what did you guys think of the overall case before we kind of like go into the questions that were we all did the pre poll. What did you guys kind of think that
Mhm.
Dr. John's decision should have been?
Yeah, so kind of based on his previous history, he's been successful at selling companies, moving on. Looks like had a, he wasn't settled to just sit on the beach or play golf. He always wanted to do a new venture. So I think kind of based on his history and how successful this venture's been so far, that he's got a very good chance of selling it already,
Mm-hmm.
based on the capital they've produced. So, in my opinion, I propose that the company gets sold.
Thomas, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I was in between that one and let's see what I've got here. And the part where, or the option to build
Mm-hmm.
and to continue. Let's see. Yeah, build a new company for high quality, innovative products. So I
Yeah.
was in between. He suggested in that one. I
So.
ended up going with that one, but
Mm-hmm. Drew said kind of a similar thing that they were looking at that they should go in and improve the product and move the company forward. The thing in my situation, if I was in Dr. John's particular situation, I think I would license the product to be able to kind of do something else. He has a proven track record of being able to create new companies, and he can just take what he's earning the um, from the licensing deal that he does with either Crest or looking into another company and funding that and having another company just kind of take care of it. I think that would kind of be a better option just for him to make more money and start another company. So kind of mix the two of them. But obviously that wasn't an option. But I think that was kind of where I was looking at as more licensing the actual toothbrush instead of creating anything and going any deeper with it. Um,
Nice. Okay.
but let's look at the first question. It says, "What do you think Oster's process of identifying opportunities and building companies?"
So I'll chime in on that one. I think it looks like he's created the previous companies with a few seasoned individuals that he like hires kind of overqualified people. So he brings people in with a lot of experience, and in some cases, individuals that he's worked with previously. So kind of stays in his comfort zone for success of what he's seen to be successful, and he's great at analyzing what's worked, what hasn't, as he goes into new ventures, and then implements that to continually improve. Like I think I'm trying to look back. So Cap Toys, I think it was the CFO they had worked with at Cap Toys, was now working with him on this new venture, Dr. John's product. And so he kind of follows patterns, iterates where iterations need to be made based on failure or success, and continues forward. So he's great at kind of like watching what's been successful, what hasn't, making iterations to make his next business that much more successful.
Yeah, no, he seems like a very, very intelligent individual, being able to kind of I think he has a really great sense of when to get out, when to. I've taken other classes that talks about you know a good entrepreneur knows when to step out and sell the company and let it run itself, or completely sell it like he's done. I think is very intelligent when it comes to that, and has a very good sense of when to step back and get out of those companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I skimmed over it, so a lot of it's not. I mean, I got the gist of it, but from what I saw, a lot of it came from what y'all suggested, as well as like finding whenever he saw like opportunities to improve something, or like where I think it talked about main concern for the brush was it not being affordable because the electric toothbrushes were so expensive and people not wanting to move to that. So making it more user friendly, or so they could try it in the stores and things like that. Having a product or putting it out there that way, I thought really helped to build it. But like I said, I skimmed over it, so I might be talking about something completely different.
No, yeah, you're going in a good direction with it. Like it was a rather interesting case overall, about what his past was, and what his present and future could look like. Um, Drew's here saying on the comments, it says, I don't think he has the patience or management ability to run the company the way he wants. My question for you, Drew, is why do you think that? I know it's kind of hard to get that typing out quick, but why do you think that?
It's a good point. While Drew's typing, I'll try to buy you some time, Drew. Help you out. But that is a good point. Like, he obviously, I don't think, has stuck with something for super long. So I can kind of see where that thought may come. He seems to kind of build something and be. They do things differently, and he's one that's great at starting something, but may not be someone super patient that's want to like stick to it for the long run, build a company of 500. Let's see what he says.
Yeah, so it looks like Drew is saying he wanted the logistics to run away, but didn't like the certain people and was more inclined to use computers. So you find that he's more of a tech guy than just overall business guy is what I think he's trying to say. I'm not sure. I don't know if you want to chime in there real quick, Drew, uh, but yeah, I really find the guy. Yeah, he is rather, you could call it impatience, or kind of finding a good sense of where to leave. That's kind of a big deal, and being able to sell those things. Um, I
Yeah.
like what Drew has to say on this one. It says he also that Drew felt that he was more of an inventor, not the management type, and that can make a lot of sense. Like, he's come out with a lot of really great innovative products, but hasn't had the capacity to really kind of manage those things and manage those companies into something bigger. And that actually sounds that's kind of something I makes a little more sense to me towards where Drew is going with that. But let's go ahead and move on. Who is John Osher, and how does he come up with his ideas? Thomas, I don't know if you got really much um,
Uh,
of who John Osher is and kind of read the background part of him.
not much in the background, just that he has created different companies. That he's an entrepreneur and had that kind of a mindset early on. I guess the big one that he was the CEO. Let's see, co-founder and CEO of Dr. John's Products. Um, but one aspect of how he comes up, or how he plays the inventor, is um, how he observes people. I guess he was talking about the earrings company, and how he saw that there was, a need for a more specific, um, I don't know, I guess you say place for people to go. I want earrings. I don't want to deal with a
I think
department store or something.
I think Drew's kind of got a really good thing, really good comment that's going to help you kind of with that. It says that that Dr. John sees trends and then comes up with business ideas and then creates a product or business to fit the needs of the consumer, which is exactly what he does. He builds a company out of he creates a secondhand store in college. After that helps people save energy with some products that he invents, and he's very with it when it comes to like knowing the market that he's going towards, and finds a product and invents something really great um, uh, for the market that he's looking at. So yeah, that was a really great comment, Drew, there to kind of help out with that.
Yeah, my 2 cents on that, and something I think I don't know if any of you all plan on being entrepreneurs, but
Hey Seth, your connection's kind of bad. You keep cutting in and out, so we're only getting a little bit about half of what you've been saying.
can you hear me better now?
Yeah, it didn't cut out that time.
Okay, so it's just cutting out a ton though.
Yeah, sometimes when you're talking, it's cutting out.
All right, let's see. Well, let me know if it continues.
Sounds good.
But yeah, I think when starting a business, it's not that we always need to come up with some brand new product or brand new idea that's never been thought about. Oftentimes, we can go to an industry and innovate within that industry. For example, in the toothbrush space, there were these manual toothbrushes that we all use, and then there were these $80 to $100 automatic toothbrushes, but there wasn't that in between. And he found that and found a market for it, which was what made him successful.
Yeah, and so to go on with that, is Spinbrush a good idea? How does John evaluate his opportunities? And I think these last couple of questions kind of intermix about what's going on. I think the Spinbrush was a great idea. A lot of people do have, I do prefer to have, a regular toothbrush, but it is always nice to have something electronic to kind of help give you that little better step on, your oral hygiene and things along those lines. So I think that was huge. That was huge for him to be able to do that. Let's see.
Yeah, no, that's so I guess part.
You're still cutting out.
What? Oh man, it's better.
Sounds
I
like
took my headset off. Is this better?
I don't think it was the headset. I think it was more kind of your internet connection. But that may help, because when I was talking to you earlier without your headset, you sounded perfectly fine.
I do Google Hangout a ton for work, but I am sitting in a different part of the house, maybe a little further from the router. So I like the question where it asks, why haven't larger companies already done a spin brush? And I don't, I think honestly, in my opinion, the answer is that they just haven't, right? Like no one's taken the initiative to do it, and I think that's the problem a lot of times when just in the world in general. Like there's a lot of great ideas, a lot of things we can do out there, and those that actually take the initiative and do it are the ones that become super successful. And so, you know, John Osher saw an opportunity that wasn't something groundbreaking or anything, right? It wasn't like revolutionary, but he saw a market and went for it, and did big things with it.
Mm-hmm. Maybe overall, just kind of the R&D department hadn't come up to that point, thinking, do people really need this? Do people really want that? And we're kind of hesitant to do that. And it was something that, he was able to go out and I think didn't even get a patent on it too. And he was able, he has the opportunity to go for and license it. So I think that's kind of huge for him, and something that
patents, not just on that, but with a lot of stuff he's built, which is cool.
Yeah,
he's a smart cookie.
It came to mind that maybe the other companies were intimidated by those concerns, the cost, and it's going to cost too much for consumers, and that it's something that they're not going to want to, they're used to brushing with regular toothbrush.
I think, he also had some great relationships from his toy building business that kind of opened up the door, which, it goes to show like having connections can help you, in certain aspects of your business. And others may have not had those connections where you can get things at such a good cost, like you were saying. Thomas, to make it worth it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
All right. So I don't know. I don't know what you got. I'm trying to figure out how much is Spinbrush worth. So in those 3 videos that the class, let's see, kind of in the introduction, there's 3 videos about how to
Yeah.
analyze a case. I want to say the second one talked about different graphs that are in this case study that can help us know what the company's valued at.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of looking for right here. Is they were in the graphs. It says that in his short amount of time, he was able to take zero point zero 0.06 of the share of this space, which may not sound like a lot, but to a small company, that's huge. Like to take away almost 1% of everything. A multi-billion-dollar industry that he was able to come in and cut himself a piece of the pie with being such a small company was huge. Um, it's kind of hard to evaluate in kind of our terms because I have to imagine a lot of us were quite a bit younger in 1999. I would think I was about 7 years old in 1999. So if you look at it that way, trying to give it a decent evaluation, I think would be kind of hard. If you're talking about just the brush, if you're looking at today's standards with that, I don't know, that'd be rather interesting to try to evaluate. Not exactly sure how you might want to do that. I think it can really depend on what each individual company wants to do.
Yeah, there's like simple math that can show you how to evaluate a company based on how much money. Like for example, in the end, it says they raised an additional 500,000, and if it had told us what percent of the company was given for that 500,000, we could see what the investors were evaluating the company at.
Yeah,
Since it doesn't give us that percentage, we're kind of in the dark because 500,000, that's awesome, but did that give up like 10%? Did it give up 20%?
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Drew just posted here. It said he said he feels that we need a little more data to give a true valuation, which is true. Knowing how much was given up for that 500,000 would have really helped us in the situation of being able to evaluate. Now, obviously, John Osher's not a fool. He's not going to give away so much that's not going to make it worth it. But overall, he's obviously going to make a smart deal with that $500,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Let's see. It
What
says,
should John do? What should he do? We talked about this a little bit.
yeah,
Anybody's opinion changed after the discussion?
I still think, in my situation, me being who I am, I think I would want to make my money work for me, and I still would suggest licensing the product. Being able for him to take the royalties off of it and start something else.
Yeah, the more I've thought about it, the more I agree with that. I remember him talking about outsourcing some of it. What was it? The development of it or something? I can't remember what it was, but he
Oh,
outsourced and doing that for a lot of everything else and licensing it would give him a lot more time to do what he does best and continue to create while that makes him money.
hmm
Yeah, I like where you're going with that.
What do you think, Seth? You still think should build the company? Should he sell it? Should he license it? What do you think he should do in that situation? You still sticking with it? He should build the company.
Yeah. Thinking. Trying to think of all the pros of. So if you were to license it, who would then run it? I
Well,
mean,
he would
people.
license. They were talking about him licensing it to Crest. It wasn't that
Yeah.
who he had someone already on the table saying, "Hey, we'll take this off your hands and we'll give you royalties for it."
Yeah. It's not a bad way to go. I'm stuck between that and selling it. It's hard to know without knowing what the company evaluates at.
Yeah.
Like if he were to sell it, how much would he sell it for, right?
hmm
And then, so I don't think I'm going to go with selling it, but licensing it could be great if it doesn't evaluate to X amount. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they're both really good options, but I don't have enough data to know which one's the best.
And that's kind of what we're here for the case study, is that obviously there's no one right answer. And so, but yeah,
For sure.
I think John's the type of guy, he's not a static guy, and trying to build this kind of company would be kind of hard for him. And I think overall licensing it and trying to do something else probably will be a better way for him to go. And just looking at the case and what kind of person I am.
Yeah.
All right, did you guys come up with
I'm
any?
looking at
Oh,
I'm looking at like an article about licensing. It says a typical royalty is 5% of gross wholesale sales.
hmm
So right now he's doing
these are
6,000 a day. What was the number?
Yeah, there was 6,000 a day at
He's selling
$6 a piece.
6,000 a day. Yeah. So that's 36,000. 36,000 times 365 days of the year. So that's 13 million times 0.05. That's $657,000, given that the company hasn't grown any, right? Like, obviously it's going to grow. So just right at the beginning, he was taking 5% royalty. That's over $500,000 a year, not including the growth that it's going to have in the years to come.
I guess they were talking about he wasn't even in any big box stores, Target, Walmart, things along those lines, where, you know, those spaces for him are going to just blow him up, you know, because that's what people are looking for when they go to those kind of places, you know, an efficient product for cheap, and that's what this is. It's a great efficient toothbrush, you know, in a space where they're normally costing about $80, $50 to $80, and he's brought the cost down to $6. So I think you'll see a lot more than just, you know, 6,000 a day.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so it's 5% gross wholesale, so not the retail. So probably like what, $3? I don't know what his wholesale is.
But still,
But yeah, so maybe like 300,000 a year off the bat, just right off the, you know, and as it grows, like once you get into those big box retailers and it explodes, that you'll probably be making a few million a year easy in the near future, and then on to his next gig. Licensing sounding good. I like it.
hmm So Drew said that Drew thinks that he should weigh his feelings of what he wants to do for the future. If he wants to do something else, he should sell it. But if he wants to make it into a bigger company, he should keep it. Yeah, I think it really can depend on the way a person feels. Obviously, you gotta you know, if anyone's really working this kind of thing, building businesses, even investing, you got to take a lot of feeling out of it. Got to take a lot of emotion out of it, just because money's money and that's your livelihood. But when it comes down to it, yeah, it does come on. Well, what feels better for my situation. But we're coming to
There's also some things with licensing as I'm reading more about it. Like sometimes there's a lot of things you need to do to make your product licensable, and it can be very costly. So maybe like I don't know if you didn't want to do all that. I don't know. I guess there's just a lot of things that go into each detail.
Yeah.
As I'm learning more about it, that can help be a factor in what decision you make. All right, so I think that's about it.
Yeah, the overall, I don't know if you guys came up with any other questions you thought were good. Let me go over some of the ones I have. A lot of the things that they talked about in the tutorials for, analyzing a case was kind of making math involved in this, which, makes a lot of sense. One of the things that isn't brought up is the margins on his toothbrush. We're talking about the wholesale. What are the margins on that wholesale? What would that would also be really helpful in evaluating the company and the options that he would have. Something we may not be able to find the answer to at this time through the case, but I thought that was a really great question. Like, what are the margins on this toothbrush? What does it take for him to, or what does it cost for him to, to get it ready and packaged and into the store? And so I think that was a really great question that I came up with.
Yeah, no, those are all good questions. I agree with some of the questions. Some of the those are some of the unknowns that impede us from, I think, making a super educated decision on what we would do.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. Well, guys, that was really good. So let's try to plan for this next week, 7 o'clock on Wednesday. I think we're all kind of agreeing with that. I'll text Allie here and figure out what we want to do with that. But yeah, this it's going to be a good semester. Just got to keep up with these hangouts. I think that'll kind of be the biggest thing.
Yeah, I'll try and be better, more prepared next time.
Yeah,
No worries. This week's been rough. Like I didn't even know what I was supposed to do till today or last night. I was texting Spencer, so we'll get it going.
Hey Thomas, if you want to just in the comments or on the chat, if you want to throw your phone number in there, and then we'll add you to the group text we have going. Drew said he didn't have a phone number, so I'll just kind of keep up with Drew through email and things. And then I'll also text Allie. Sounds like she has kind of a harder work schedule that we'll have to work around. But we'll figure it out for her as well for next time. But yeah, I think that's about it. So I'll go ahead and stop the broadcast now.